Thank you all for being here, and welcome to this panel on how to grow your AI venture at BSC AI Factory Spaces. Um, Many AI ventures today struggle because, not because of lack of ideas, but because maybe they lack access to infrastructure, to resources, to the right tools to succeed. One of the things that some of them may struggle with are the physical spaces, where things happen, where the ecosystem is created, and where you can discuss with others how you explore your business, how you grow your business, and what you can do to grow in the future. Today we're going to see how we are planning on doing that at BSC AI Factory. And for that, I'll introduce my co-panelists. First of all, we have Elisabeth Cabot, CEO and CTO and co-founder at Vecify. Vecify is one of the first startups incubated in our incubation space in Pier 7 here in Barcelona. Also, we have Pedro Marquez, who is a project manager at CNCA. He will be, well, CNCA is one of the affiliated institutions to the BSC AI Factory initiative, and he will be managing the spaces in Portugal. And last but not least, we have Dragos from EC Bucharest. He will be the lead in the BSC AI Factory spaces in Bucharest. So, first of all, before we move into the venture perspective, before we move and see how these spaces can help these startups, let's see what spaces are we talking about, right? What are the hubs of this ecosystem that we are managing and these startups will have access to? First of all, we have access to 4 locations, okay? We have a main location here in Barcelona with 99 workstations available for these startups. Also, we have 3 complementary nodes, one in Lisbon, one in Guimarães, and one in Bucharest. All of these spaces are prepared with the right facilities and the right tools so that these startups can make use of them as if this was their personal office. Here you can see some of the spaces for Barcelona. Here we have Lisbon, Guimarães, and also Bucharest. So what is the value proposition for these startups? What are they getting into once they sign up to participate in the incubation program or the other modalities of access that we will see? Well, first of all, the ecosystem, the companies that integrate these BSC AI Factory spaces. We will have more than 39 incubated startups, 75 places for them to work. We will have five spots per company so that they can work together with their team and the rest of the startups present. And of course, all of this comes with all of the right tools and equipment that you would expect from any working space. If you set up your own office, you would expect these things. We have them, and we also have the right ecosystem to meet with all of these startups. But what are the access modalities? If you're a startup, how can you begin working with us? How can you get close to BSC? If you're interested in a physical space to work, how can you get inside? Well, first of all, we have 3 different access modalities. The first one, and the more interesting one, is the incubation program. The incubation program, and why do I say that it's the most interesting one? Because right now we have an open call for this incubation program. You have on the back of Dragos, the QR code, sorry. So you can scan it if you want to participate in this. You will see it afterwards. Dragos, it's not necessary to move. Sorry about that. But you can apply now for the incubation program if you are an early stage startup that you're looking for a place to work, for more specific support, for an incubation track with activities, with workshops and other events that will be happening at the space. If you think that you are in the place in your startup life where you need to meet people, you need to meet the right people, you definitely should apply to the incubation program. This incubation program that we launched this month will be happening at our 4 locations at the same time. Each location will have a specific track of activities. and a specific person to manage those activities. Today with us we have Pedro and Dragos, who will be in charge of that. Yeah, about the incubation program. Now that we are talking about it, I wanted to ask Dragos, from your perspective, leading the Bucharest node, what kind of startups do you think are best positioned to benefit the most from this type of structured incubation program?
I think the most valuable startups that can benefit from this is those that have, let's say, validated prototype that could be easily for them to have access to a structured environment for their deployment. So they can navigate between EU regulations, data governance issues, and they can take the bridge between the technical capabilities to deployment for their models.
Perfect. And Pedro, from your perspective, managing the spaces in Guimarães and Lisbon, how do you see this program helping startups move from development more to deployment?
Well, first of all, thank you for the opportunity of being here. I see it in, I would say, two main ways. So maybe from a logistics point of view, and I'm not even sure if this is the right word, but what I'm trying to say is the fact that you no longer have to worry about the space for your company, so it's available, it's made available through us. And also from a technical support point of view, so speaking for Portugal, in Lisbon we will have, maybe Danielle will be there in order to help you, but we'll also have other technical support placed in Guimarães, for example. And in the particular case of Guimarães, it's very close to our own supercomputer. So it's like a 10-minute walk to our supercomputer. And this ends up being great because you have the whole team that supports the supercomputer and everything right there. So if there's any additional questions or anything, that would be great. But I also feel like it's important to define technical support. When we say technical support, we don't mean like a free software engineer there to do everything for you. It's technical support, when it comes to understanding your data, for ensuring that you have all the knowledge to access all of the resources. So the HPC resources, as we were saying, might be a bit different than accessing a cloud, so you need training for that. And that's what we mean when we say support. It's essentially that.
Thank you. Now, before jumping into the co-working program, just wanted to clarify that this incubation program lasts for 6 months, and each 6 months we will be launching a new call. So for startups that are not able to come into the program right now, they will be able to do so in September, more or less, because that's when the third call will be open. But I will remind you of the QR code in the end of the presentation. Also, if we talk about the second access modality, it's the co-working program. What we try to achieve with the co-working program is much more flexible stay in our spaces. This is for companies that maybe are not ready yet for this incubation, for these extra activities or extra workshops that entail the incubation program, but they also want to work from the space and be part of this ecosystem. For that, we created this program, and they can stay for a day, for a week, for a month, or even up to 6 months if they so desire. And this will be on a rolling basis. So you will apply. If there is space available, you will receive that space if you comply with the certain criteria that has to be met, and you will be able to participate in the general activities that are done in the facilities of the BSC AI Factory spaces. And the last one, well, first I wanted to ask Pedro, from this ecosystem perspective, how do you see this co-working program helping these ventures engage earlier with research institutions or technical environments before a more structured incubation program?
Well, I think the whole point of the ecosystem is to ensure that the startups as well as the public institutions are connected. And when it comes to the startups, maybe startup A might come across an issue that was already solved by startup B. So I think that whole ecosystem of sort of like-minded people will be really, really helpful. But also the existing public research institutions. So we do have some of them with a lot of knowledge in the AI area. So for most people, AI is something that's, 3 years old, because that's when we first started hearing about it, when ChatGPT was launched. But the reality is that you can come across, people with 10, 15 years of experience in the field, which is very amazing, truly remarkable. And this is also the case for Spain. You have your own supercomputing grid, which is, a bit older than ours. I'm not saying that it's old, like it's falling to pieces. It's old. There's a lot of knowledge there. So that's great. You can truly make great progress there and use all of that knowledge.
Thank you, Pedro. And the last modality access that we have for these spaces is the acceleration program. We will be launching this soon in the coming months, and will take 6 months, but it's targeted to a more, maybe more mature startup, maybe a startup that has already completed the incubation track and that wants to take their business to the next level. This will be a much more intensive program than the incubation program, and they will have access to the space, but not compulsory. Like, it will be an option to work from the space, but they will be able to have their own offices, and yeah, it will be much more flexible in that sense. Okay, now that we know all of these modality access and all of these spaces and how people can engage with them, I would like to know from the Elizabeth experience. She is one of the first ones from the first call of incubation that we had at Pier 7. And I would like to know, Elizabeth, well, first of all, if you can explain us what Vecify does, and then what did you choose to apply for the BSC AI Factory incubation program?
Yeah, so first of all, thank you for inviting me here. And well, the startup that I'm solving, first I would like to introduce the problem that we try to solve so that you have a little bit of context. So yeah, in engineering regulated sectors like aerospace, automotive, robotics, and medical devices, we have currently quite some tools which have been running for decades. And actually, they are really powerful tools, but that the engineers and managers don't use on the everyday basis. This creates as well the need for using many different tools, which at the end creates a problem of inefficiencies, documentation burdens, reactive audits. So yeah, in the hardware engineering world, that's a need for digitalization and automation. So basically, knowing this problem, and yeah, I have lived this problem from within, I decided to create Vecify. And yeah, what we do is we build a compliance engineering platform that creates a generative from one side and explainable AI engine that reasons about compliance. And yeah, basically we unify the requirements, the system architecture, verification, certification, with the configuration control versioning to reach the audit and bring this product into the market as soon as possible, but ensuring that it's above all safe. And why we decided to join BSC and the BSC AI Factory? Because as you can imagine, this problem is quite complex. And yeah, it really needs the right ecosystem, both technically and strategically. And I think that BSC brings this.
Perfect. Also, I wanted to ask you, from your experience as an incubated startup in this first call, almost 6 months that you have been working from the space now, what do you value the most about being part of this environment?
Yeah, so there are several things. Of course, the offices, which are amazing. I don't know if you have been there, but the views are incredible. We also have free coffee and so on, so this is nice. But what for me, it really brings a lot of power is that we have other startups which are working there, so we have the opportunity to do networking and to really talk about which are the problems that we are living, how do we solve this, also be completely up to date with the AI news, which every week or almost every day changes. And yeah, you also present as investors and so on.
Perfect. more on that. Has being in this physical space helped in your technical validation of your solution? How has it impacted the development of your solution?
So what we are building is quite complex because we want to bring this technology into industrial enterprise sectors. So this means that we need to create a safe by design architecture and also to ensure that the AI, it's something that the engineers or the users that will be using this can trust. So as you can imagine, this is really complex and it has used us a lot to talk with AI experts. Also, we have been talking to use in the next month the 50,000 HPC, so the high performance computing, to basically validate our models, mitigate AI hallucination, test stress our engineering graph. So yeah, in order to have a contact with AI experts, like that we can really talk about the deep tech technology that we are developing, has helped us a lot.
Perfect. I wanted to ask you also, you have lived this experience from your own hands. Would you recommend this experience to other startups, and why would you recommend it?
Absolutely. So from my side, it has been really useful, not only technically, as I mentioned, like to develop and validate the idea that we are creating, but also strategically because the BSC has a really strong ecosystem on the technical side, but also with investors, with networking. So for early stage startups who are building something new with AI that's really like the future, I would say, it makes sense to apply.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Elizabeth.
Thanks to you.
I would like also from you, Pedro, to know from this ecosystem perspective, how important it is for startups to be embedded in an environment where they can meet and work every day with other startups that are doing similar, maybe similar things.
Well, I think that Elizabeth explained it better than I could. I mean, we were just in the Pier 7, so seeing everyone there and all the startups, it's quite amazing. And yeah, I do believe that that environment of like-minded people trying to solve new issues, people focus on AI solutions. I think that that whole environment will truly help you move forward. But also the fact that you also have available support from the BSC AI Factory consortium. So this could be trying to figure it out how to access something, help you with your data, help you with your software libraries. I think this is also very, very important. So it's the whole ecosystem. I don't think it's just the whole AI, the entirety of the AI companies, but also the support. I think that the whole combination is very, very interesting.
Thank you. I would also like to point out, Elizabeth said, or she talked about accessing this supercomputing power. This is one of the services that we offer in the AI Factory, in the BSC AI Factory. But it's important to know that these access modalities to the physical spaces of the AI Factory are just one of the doors to get inside of this program. They don't necessarily mean that you will access straight away this supercomputing power, but of course, once you're in, we can assess you, see exactly the point on where each startup is, and then offer the right tools, the right services to meet the needs of every startup that joins and wants to grow with the BSC AI Factory. So yeah, just to point that out. Dragos, I wanted to ask you, from the infrastructure side, how does this access to advanced computer environment influence the ability of startups to move from experimentation into deployment?
So in Romania, I think the access to infrastructure is the gap between having a proof of concept and going to production. So this allows them to train to optimize their models here, but also having compliance to highly regulated sectors like public administration, like energy. So it has all the services for them. Without the access to the infrastructure, I think they will remain in the, let's say, demo mode. So it's very important for us in Romania, this access to the infrastructure.
Perfect. To close this panel, and then we can ask if you have any questions, you can ask it. But I would like to get a quick takeaway from each one of you in one sentence or more if you want. What is the most important resource that an AI startup may need today to successfully scale?
So since the microphone, it's I will start.
Dragos, go ahead.
I think the key takeaway here is the community and the collaboration. So it offers a lot of opportunities to startups to develop and to train their models.
Yeah, from my side, I would agree that being in the right ecosystem and really following the updates that are happening right now to really develop the right tool that the world right now needs, it's something important.
Thank you.
Well, I agree. I think the community is a very important, but also the whole support and hopefully the ease of access to resources that you need. I think those are the main ones.
Thank you very much. Now, if you have some questions from anybody of the public. If you have questions in a few minutes, you can ask myself, and I will be happy to explain. But before we finish, I just wanted to remind you, and thank you, Dragos, for allowing them to see the QR code, that we have this incubation program called Ongoing until the 12th of March. So feel free to apply, to introduce your startup to us, to access the spaces, and if you need any other services, of course, we can also help with that. And with that, I would like to end this panel. Thank you all for being here, and thank you all for also attending the panel. Thank you.